I'm going to blow your mind. We're going to do it really quick. I'm going to talk about in this video how editing is actually similar to spiritual awakening. Firstly, what the hell is spiritual awakening? It can mean a million things. So what do I actually mean when I say that? Liberation of the self. Well, what is liberation of the self? In any sort of philosophical, religious, or psychological tradition, we find that the liberation of the self is the same as the liberation of the mind. And how do we liberate the mind? We actually figure out ways to reduce and remove thoughts. Now, you're never going to stop thinking, but the more you can calm the mind, the more spaciousness there is. This is the sort of general ethos of every sort of wisdom tradition known to man. The more you calm the mind, the more space there is, the more clear the truth of reality's light shines forth. Now, you're not going to understand what this means if you got a noisy mind, because the first step is you have to quiet the mind. But once the mind is quiet, there's a sort of boundless awareness. Okay, so how does this relate to video editing? Well, what is editing? Editing's cutting out all the noise and getting right down to the signal. In theory, the most beautiful edit one could imagine would have no cuts. It's just pure truth. That's why people love movies like Birdman that don't cut at all, or a great classic Kubrick film in which you just hold on the frame because there's no reason to cut. There's nothing to hide from. It's just pure signal. Ultimately, the truth in light of spirituality and religious awakening is similar to the idea of an edit that never needs to be cut. As one broaches truth in editing, they realize that the less you cut, the truer something is. In fact, a lot of editing is simply cutting around truth. Yes, style, rhythm, substance, vibe, it's all part of it. But at the end of the day, something that isn't cut up is actually very awake, very boundless, and very alive with the real pulsing heart of the universe. I hope you enjoyed this. Like below and subscribe and stay tuned.